Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. It's your boy D Black coming back with a prediction video for Night of Champions. Alrighty, we're going to start off with the first match. It's probably going to be Trick Williams versus Ricky Saints. This match should be a pretty good one and stuff. I honestly believe that Trick Williams is going to retain this title and stuff, but I'm sure there's going to probably end up being some interference with Carmelo Hayes. I believe Carmelo Hayes may come down because of the fact, remember, Ricky Saints cost Carmelo Hayes, his title shot at the U.S. men's U.S. title and stuff. So we're going to see. But as I'm picking, I'm going to go ahead and go with Trick Williams. I mean, there's a lot to talk about this because I'm probably thinking it's probably end up either going to be Trick Williams will win or it could end up being a disqualification, which sets up a triple threat match for SummerSlam for the men's U.S. title. Probably in the first night and stuff of SummerSlam. So we'll see. Then we have the match with Tiffany Stratton and Jade Cargill. Now this match, Tiffany's beating Jade and Jade is beating Tiffany. And Jade actually beat Tiffany for the women's championship and stuff. And, Jade has B-Fab and Meechin in her corner to come down. And then Chelsea Green does have, not sorry, Tiffany Stratton does have Chelsea Green in her corner and stuff. So we'll see what happens with that. But don't forget, we have Charlotte Flair. So Charlotte Flair could be a big factor in this match too because Jade and Charlotte have been having these big stare-offs since the day that Jade came into the company a couple of years ago and stuff. There was a backstage segment where Jade, where Nick Aldis introduces Jade and Charlotte. And Jade said that tells us that she's Jade Cargill, and Charlotte Flair says she knows, and Charlotte says, "Hey, look, I'll see you. We'll see each other later and stuff." So they've been teasing it a few times, you know, um, in some big matches and stuff, with Jade coming out and then her and Charlotte face to face. So we'll see where this goes. I don't. I want to say Jade. I would like to see Jade win this belt, but Tiffany just got the title. I just can see this going probably Tiffany Stratton's way, but I wouldn't be mad if Jade wins. So I'm going to go ahead and let Tiffany continue holding this belt, and we'll see what happens down the road and stuff. But it's just so hard to say, especially with Charlotte in the flip. But I don't think Charlotte would want to go down to a mid card title and stuff like that. She's just too big of a person to go, for a mid card title. So we're gonna go ahead with Tiffany Stratton winning this title, and Jade and Charlotte will probably, you know, it doesn't even have to be for a title. It can just be for just putting. It could be a good match between Jade and Charlotte Flair, but not for a title. And then the next match we're gonna go with is Io Sky versus Liv Morgan. Now this match should be a pretty good match. Also, you know, and I think Io Sky is gonna win this. I don't think Liv should win this because Liv is a champion right now, and she got other things to worry about. Because if Stephanie Valkyrie shows up and everything, Liv is gonna have some problems with that. I'm sure Judgment Day is probably going to try to stick their feet in it, but Liv left them kind of with a dry mouth last week when Liv told Raquel that she should worry about taking the U.S. title, I mean the Intercontinental title from Sol Ruca, and then Roxanne Perez looked at Liv and said, "Hey, what about me?" And Liv walked off with Dom and JD McDonough and stuff. So it's going to be interesting with this Judgment Day thing. I think they're falling apart, and I think somewhere down the line we're going to end up seeing Roxanne Perez either going at Liv Morgan or Stephanie Valkyrie going after Liv Morgan. Something is going to happen, but I wouldn't count out Stephanie Valkyrie showing up. She was injured, and she got injured by the Judgment Day. So we'll see how that goes. But in the end, I'm saying Io Sky is going to win Queen of the Ring. and then go and face Rhea Ripley. Because remember, Rhea has not beaten Io Sky. And I would hope their friendship will hopefully give a good match and their friendship stays intact because Rhea's over there and on SmackDown and Io is still at Raw, so we'll see how that goes and stuff. But it's gonna be interesting. But anyway, Io wins this match, and then we get the match with Seth Rollins and Braun Breaker. Now this match is gonna be also interesting too, and it's in a cage match, so it's gonna be pretty brutal, brutal, brutal. And Seth says that if he can beat Braun Breaker, he can get division put past behind him. Then he can start going after some titles and stuff and everything. And then there's always the threat, of Austin Theory and Logan Paul. Well, we know Logan Paul's not going to do anything because he's injured and stuff. But that doesn't stop Austin's Theory from getting involved in the match. But I believe Seth Rollins is going to win this match and stuff because he still has the backing of the Street Profits. If Austin Theory and Logan Paul come out. So that match will go to Seth Rollins. Then we get the match with, this is going to be a good one, Oba Femi and Jey Uso. This should be a real, real good match and everything. I'm hoping that Oba doesn't go in overlooking Jey Uso because Jey Uso did tap out Gunther. So, Oba, I hope you're not underestimating Jey Uso. But anyway, it should be a good match because, Oba did tell Jey that he's not the one that he's, looking for as far as that family is concerned. I mean, was he talking about looking to go against Roman Reigns or maybe even Jacob Fatu and stuff, remember? So, but if Jey wins this match and everything, that makes him king of the ring. But how does that go with Roman Reigns as Jey being king of the ring? Wouldn't that even throw in some conflict between the two of them there? And especially if Jey does go after Cody and if he does beat Cody, in SummerSlam, where's that going to leave Jey? And because they'll both be kind of like equal. But does Jey look back at the fact that when Roman Reigns put that Ulafala over Jacob Fatu, I mean, does he bring that up or anything like that? And then I also think that we're going to have a Brock Lesnar sighting. And Brock Lesnar might come out and cause Oba to win. Not that Oba would have overlooked Jey Uso, but Brock Lesnar could come out, and interfere into the match or show his presence and everything that could get Oba in trouble, and Jey wins it that way. I mean, we're just going to have to wait and see. But out of this whole thing, which really makes the better sense of it all, is that Jey wins, the King of the Ring and stuff. But it would be great for Oba to win it too. But I don't think that's going to happen because I think Brock Lesnar is going to come out and do something crazy and stuff because they gotta continue with that storyline into SummerSlam. Because I'm thinking that if Brock comes in and causes Oba Femi to lose the King of the Ring, and that gives Oba that edge to go in on SummerSlam to actually retire Brock Lesnar. Because I think Brock Lesnar wants to go out on the big stage, and what big stage to go out on than SummerSlam. Well, unless you're at WrestleMania, but WrestleMania is not until next year, and I don't think they're going to carry the storyline that long. So, and then also you got Solo Sikoa that could possibly come out and hit Jey Uso with the Samoan spike, like he did Jimmy Uso last week, causing him to lose to LA Knight. So there's a lot of possibilities that could happen, at Night of the Champions and stuff. So, but actually, the person I'm going to pick to win this is Jey Uso. And then we have the triple threat match with Cody Rhodes, Gunther, and Sami Zayn. And Sami, man, this guy talks himself into all kind of matches. He's talked himself back into, U.S. Title match with, Trick Williams a while back. He lost that. He got into a title match with Cody. He lost that and everything. I mean, it's just, I'm so sick of Sami and stuff. And we know Sami's going to turn heel anyway, and then Cody and Gunther with this situation, and Gunther being in the title shot because of Paul Heyman and stuff. But I think Cody's gonna retain this title and stuff. And then we gotta also look back too, is that will Randy Orton show up? You know, Randy Orton might have a little something to say, as far as this concerned. But hopefully he doesn't get involved in the match. Maybe he just shows up after the match and stuff, and then look down Cody's face and try to go back at that title again. You know, we don't. It's gonna be interesting. This Night of Champions is gonna be a very interesting card. It's a good card, so it should be a real good night. For Night of Champions and stuff. But then again, we got Triple H writing the stories and stuff, and them stories have not been actually good. So, and the triple threat, I'm going to say Cody is still going to retain this title and then go on and probably end up facing Jey Uso at SummerSlam and stuff, because Over's got to get rid of Brock Lesnar. So, and there's my picks for Night of Champions. We got Seth Rollins beating Braun Breaker. We got Trick Williams retaining and beating Ricky Saints. Tiffany Stratton will retain her title. Io Sky will be Queen of the Ring. Jey Uso will be King of the Ring. And Cody retains his title at Night of Champions. And with that, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, leave a comment. Let me know how you feel. If you agree or disagree, just let me know, let me know, let me know. Alrighty then. Thank you for watching. God bless. Deuces. And I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.